Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, we're talking about Nintendo Switch, N64, PSP, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about PSP emulation with PPSSPP, and PPSSPP has been incredibly active lately. A little while back they announced version 1.14, then version 1.14.1, then 0.2, and yesterday we talked about 0.3. Well, today we've got version 1.14.4. This release contains a number of bug fixes, so if you currently use PPSSPP, it might be worth it to pick up the latest version, and if you haven't updated PPSSPP in a while, it's definitely about time to update. I'll drop a link to the website in the description below and feel free to check it out. Next up, we're talking about N64 emulation on PC with RMG, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Rosalie's Mupin GUI, depending on how you want to interpret that. Rosalie's Mupin GUI just got another brand new release, version 0.2.9. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. So version 0.2.9 brings about some bug fixes, especially with the 64DD, some improvements here with behavior, not necessarily emulation accuracy, and some additions, for example, a current save state tab to the hotkeys tab. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with YUZU, and the paid early access testing version of YUZU just got a really big update. So YUZU early access version 3276 has just dropped, and this one is big. We've got a whole bunch of performance improvements here. It fixes games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and others with Pascal NVIDIA GPUs. There's reduced GPU overhead, which increases performance. There's more decreases in GPU overhead, which increases performance. There is also decreasing stutter from texture downloading, which increases performance. So in a nutshell, Vulcan gets better. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Xenoblade Chronicles perform a little bit better. On top of that, if you're upscaling, you might notice some better performance. And similar to Skyline, these testing changes should make their way into the free mainline build within a week or two, or possibly even sooner. And speaking about Skyline, next up we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Skyline. And it looks like it might be the time that Skyline is finally playing some games better than the actual Nintendo Switch. Well, maybe better is subjective, but definitely faster. Someone's got Super Mario Odyssey up and running at over 100 frames per second in some cases. Yes, frame limiting is turned off, but at the same time, it's looking really good. This is absolutely insane. This is with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. In fact, the same person has Persona 5 Royal up and running at 60 frames per second. It's kind of crazy that a year ago, a lot of phones were struggling with games like Sonic Mania and Celeste, and now phones are chewing those games up like it's nothing. This is absolutely insane, and this has been done with the latest build of Skyline, version 1632. Skyline is free, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Feel free to check it out, and feel free to click on the Discord logo at the top right-hand corner and join their Discord. Next up, we're still talking about the Switch, but the actual hardware, and this is very interesting news. Apparently, the Nintendo Switch has outsold the lifetime sales of the Game Boy and I think Game Boy Color. The Game Boy has sold 118.69 million units. The Nintendo Switch has sold 118.99 million units and counting. However, it is worth pointing out that the video game market in the 80s and 90s was a lot smaller than it is today. But that shouldn't take away from Nintendo's achievement here. I mean, this list is a little outdated. And they do stand a chance at overthrowing the Nintendo DS and possibly even the PS2. I guess it all depends on how long the Switch is going to remain in production for. Next up, we're talking about the Anbernic 35XX, and Team Black Seraph has just added around 17 cores to their custom operating system for it, GarlicOS. So if you've got an Anbernic 35XX, you can pick up this operating system 100% free right from their Patreon page. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. It's right here. Moving on, and we're talking about another retro handheld, the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. If you've got one of these devices, you might want to pick up the latest OTA update. In my opinion, this update fixes some pretty critical stuff. I mean, they fixed the Wi-Fi connection that would fail randomly after wake up from standby. This is huge. They have fixed screen flickering and low brightness for some devices, or a lot of devices. They've added support to clear some app data, and they've also added support to back up and recover all user data from the game launcher. This update will be rolling out pretty soon, so if you've got a Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, just keep your eye on the latest update. And last up here, this one is pretty fun. Alienware has just revealed its first 500Hz gaming monitor. And not to be outdone, Asus has just revealed their 540Hz refresh rate monitor. If you add all of my monitors up together, and I've got 4 of them, it doesn't even equal 500 Hz. It's absolutely nuts. The best monitor I have is 144 Hz. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about today in the comments below, and we did talk about quite a bit. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.